Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Focus on Liberia online television. We are live from downtown Monrovia, Kerry Street to be precise. We are at the famous intellectual center here in town called the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions, CO for short. And so today we've come to solicit the views of Liberians regarding the brutalization of a Liberian, especially on the country's Independence Day, just right before the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. We'll talk to the comrades one at a time as they give us their view on the incident involving Christopher Walter Sisulu, who was manhandled on July 26 in Monrovia. Let's talk to the first gentleman here. I'd love to say welcome. How are you? Thanks for joining us. You have to please project your voice.
Okay. I'm fine, and secondly, my name is Peter Lama, here from the township of West Point, to be precise.
Lama, welcome. It's a pleasure having you on Focus on Liberia online television. How are you today? What do you make of the incident that occurred on July 26 involving Christopher Walter Sisulu, who was badly handled?
Firstly, let me say sorry to my brother that is lying down right now in clinics. And also, let me condemn the act for some of our police who did not take positively our countering protests because there is the first of the camp. So, that act, for me, I condemn it.
So you think there was no need to counter-protest?
True. If people will go to embassy to protest on things that is disrupting them against the government, it is the right of the government to prove themselves right to those donors that our police going to give bad news. But rather for people to get on the street to say the countering protest. Every citizen has that right. You don't know why it's hammering me now.
So you think the protest staged by SOUP on Independence Day was timely? You think it was necessary?
It was necessary.
Okay, your name again?
My name is Peter Laman.
Thank you, Laman. It was a pleasure having you on our network. Well, folks, we want to say welcome if you're just joining us. You're watching Focus on Liberia online television. And of course, my name is Theo Williams. We are downtown Monrovia here at the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions, CO for short. We've come, like I told you, to solicit the views of Liberians regarding the incident that occurred on July 26, Liberia's Independence Day, involving Christopher Walter Sisulu. Let me talk to you. This gentleman is just right before our camera. Welcome. How are you? How are you today? What's the take about the recent incident involving Christopher Sisulu?
We condemn it, all Liberians condemn the act, for Liberians will remember 1989, 1979, 8+6, we rebelled against the state and 250,000 people died. They lost their land properties, people lost their property. We keep fighting for Liberia and we are not finding solution. You people send us sometimes for us to demonstrate on the street for them. Like yesterday, people will remember that we took cast on the street. At the end of the day, there are few people that are arranging themselves, making work. The demonstration that we get on the street yesterday, and I benefit Liberian, but it benefit few group of people. So I want to condemn protest in the country, not a solution. The only solution that Liberia will find, I believe, like if Alexander Kumi, Joseph Boaka have problem with the government, let the people go on the conference table and discuss how Liberia.
Somebody will argue that having protests is constitutional. It is the right constitutionally to gather peacefully and channel the grievances to government.
Yeah, and that's something our problem. Protest is something our problem. We did thousands of protests in Liberia, see Liberia. So protest is not a major problem. The only thing that can solve Liberia problem is the solution for us to get on the conference table and discuss Liberia problem.
Okay, you think there's a need for us to dialogue instead of protest?
Yes.
Thank you. Your name again?
Elisha Nyono.
Elisha Yondo. Thank you very kindly for speaking with us. We're still here on Carey Street, downtown Monrovia. I see two gentlemen. Let me take one at a time. Before me is Dolly, Musa Dolly.
Yeah.
Dolly, welcome to Focus on Liberia Online Television. How are you today?
Well, it's a great pleasure being with you. I'm very happy being with you.
Dolly, you were here. I'm sure you followed the incident that happened on July 26th, just right before the U.S. Embassy. What's your thought on that?
Yes, it was very bad. It was very much unprecedented.
Okay.
This is the first time in the history of Liberia for all to see such occurrence. So we want to condemn it to the strongest extent.
All right.
And this is the first time ever to see what you call counter-protesters in Liberia. Under the law of Liberia, Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution, power is inherent in the people. And then under Article 17 of the Liberian Constitution, people have the right to assemble, to petition their government on critical national issues. Now, government should put into place all necessary mechanisms to be able to tell the people, those protesters, to be able to protect them under the law. So, but if you have a group of citizens coming to war, counter-protest, it means that the government lost control. So we want to ensure, we want to tell the government of Liberia that you got to build up your security system. You can't use any other group of citizens to move on another group of citizens. It could lead to what you call a genocide. It could surely lead to a genocide in the sense that it can't start in Rwanda, where one tribe went against the other tribe, and another tribe overcome the other one. So we could experience that on July 26th.
Let me ask you, Dolly, the incident happened just the day U.S. Ambassador Michael McCarthy announced that the U.S. government has sent an invitation to President Weah to visit the White House to form part of a summit there in December.
Yeah.
And what does this mean for the country?
Yeah, actually the invitation of the president to the U.S. is very much important. I believe that it will bring about social progress, national development, economic freedom for us. But on the contrary, the issue of human rights is very much cardinal.
Okay.
Because when you talk about the violations of the rights of the people, then we tend to look at the past. Those bad tendencies, those vices that permeated in society in the past. When we see them resurfacing, then we tend to get up. So
Okay.
we want for the government to do everything possible to investigate the issue, come up with the findings, take the necessary action, so as to the issue should not degenerate into the bad days of Liberia.
Thank you, Dolly. It was a pleasure having you on network this afternoon. You're watching Focus on Liberia Online Television with me, Theo Williams. And of course, we are just right on Carey Street at the famous Intellectual Center here in town. We are at the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions, CEO. When we're talking to Liberians, we want to solicit the views of Liberians. We want to hear from Liberians as per the recent violence that took place in the country on July 26th, Liberia's Independence Day. Let's talk to another gentleman here. Welcome, how are you? What's the name?
Walter Blamo, member of the opposition Liberty Party.
Blamo, welcome. How are you today?
It's a pleasure.
What's the take about the fracas that ensued on July 26th?
Firstly, we want to condemn the issue that occurred on the 26th of July, but we also want to send a caveat because when you understand, we believe that what happened, there was a paid by the quote-unquote CDC COP, because if you look at
You think the guys were paid to counter-protest?
Yeah, they were paid to counter-protest.
You're making a very strong allegation. What's the reliance to that?
Okay, I'm not making an allegation. What I'm saying is this. If you look at where the incident occurred at the American Embassy, which was very far from where the celebration was occurring.
Okay.
And you also understand that the government have put into place a security mechanism. All the intersection you have security there. Even to the extent where the incident occurred, you have a police officer that was on the scene but couldn't do anything. But what we do observe, we see there those are all who are from the opposition bill. We see this as a level test to offer 2023. You can also recall in 2018 what happened to the coordinator pre-October elections. You saw how the Sabun Dule handled the opposition, a partisan of the opposition. You also witnessed the issue that has to do with the gender urine. So we believe that there is a clear call for we, the young people of the opposition community, to stand up tall. Because if you look at, if you read physics, the third law of Sir Isaac Newton says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So we will not relent. What we're trying to say, if the government is peaceful, if the president is peaceful, those perpetrators should be brought to justice, not to make any statement and allow the perpetrator to go unpunished.
You think there's a need, or there was a need for a protest on that day by soup?
But I don't want to say if there's a need. Even in the great United States, people protest. If you read Article 1 of the Constitution, it says all power is inherent in the people.
Okay.
Then when you come to Article 17, it talks about the people have the right to assemble freely. Those citizens who want to assemble, do you saw gun in their hand? No. Who had the gun? The police was the one in arm. The police was the one in had tear gas, and the police was the one that had all logistics. Do you arrest or saw any of those citizens who want to petition the American embassy with any obstacle that resemble nothing? And those of all who are just citizens of our passing, before you pass, the police will search you, more especially when the police see you look strange. So what we say, I identify at our committee on the phone say you cannot no way divorce the government from it. We want to send it as a clear call to the government.
Okay.
And on TV, the government can look for some of us. You are here when Minipaka Domi make a statement on Facebook and say, I need gun, I don't need rights. What the government did, they arrested you. You are also here for one Jethro Harris from the ANC made a degrading statement. The government read the statement on Facebook and you were apprehended. So what we are saying, those are from the opposition community, those perpetrators that might handle a peaceful citizen who went at the American embassy to protest in the Constitution and given the right Article 17 that was handled by the CDC/COP should be brought to justice. If the government refuses to do that, the opposition community will stand up tall and will resist this government. And we will resist the government to the letter. We will not relent.
Thank you. Your name again.
We will move over bus to bus, door to door, and make sure and bring the perpetrator. And we now, as I'm speaking to you, we declare them person non grata. We will organize a citizen arrest. Anywhere we see Ben Believe Toba, anywhere we see guys on our David and the rest of the order, they will be handled by us. If the government cannot take siege of this matter, we as citizens will take siege of the matter.
Thank you. Your name again?
I'm Walter Blamo. I'm from the Opposition Liberty Party.
Thank you, Blamo. It was a pleasure having you on our network this afternoon. We stay here downtown Monrovia, and of course we are interacting with Liberians. We've come to hear from Liberians about the recent violence that took place on our country's Independence Day, just right before the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. Another gentleman is here. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm grateful. My name is Amara M. Fufana. I am the executive spokesperson for the movement against police brutality and injustices in Liberia.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure.
What's the thought about the violence that took place on July 26th?
Well, concerning the unfortunate incident that occurred near Monrovia, because the vicinity of the American embassy is part of the embassy.
Okay.
It did not happen in Liberia, diplomatically speaking. We urge our international partners, our first and foremost allies, to remind the government to ensure that the property is done, because what was done on their soil, what was done around their embassy, it has some implications about their own care for the surroundings of their embassy. If such an action can occur around the embassy, and up to today there's been no arrest made by the Liberian National Police, then of course the Liberian National Police, under the watchful eyes of Patriot Sisulu, is very insensitive, is careless, is irresponsible. Therefore, he lacked the audacity and the ability to take out to 2023 as a police inspector general.
The guys were called today for questioning.
How many guys were called in? Can you call any name that were called in by the police?
Most importantly, the head of the CDC-COP, Ben Tokba, was indicted.
When?
Today.
Today. Since the 26th up to today is July 29, right? Yes. Unfortunately, only today Ben Tokba was called in. Why? Because of public pressure. I'm saying to you, nothing going to come out of it.
Why you think so?
because Patrick Sisulu is the Inspector General of the Police.
That's an allegation, though.
He is very cruel. He is very insensitive. He's very irresponsible.
No, I don't want us to go down
No,
route.
let's see.
Let's remain civil as we address the issue. I mean,
the position he's serving is a public servant.
you have to watch your choice of voice
My
for the
choice
sake
of
of the
voice
interview
are very
and for the sake of our viewers.
My choice of voice are in line with the attitude. Why would they manhandle Liberians in the presence of some, malnourished police officer and they laughing in a video clip? They did not make any arrest there. 3 days later, before they invite somebody. So tell me, had that been you as a journalist, how will you feel? How will you feel had that been you as a journalist? That time of day, the press union not take the whole media, right?
Okay, Jabate.
No, I'm not Jabate. I'm Fofana.
Oh, Fofana.
You're not going to leave me just like that. I'm going to conclude on this issue. The question you asked, this country, nobody can deny us from this country. President Weah is the president of this country today. Yesterday was Mona Sali. Day before yesterday it was Julie Bryant. Before Julie Bryant it was Charles Taylor. Before Charles Taylor it was President Doe. Where are they? Where are they? Look, no matter how the Liberian people like President Weah, he will not go about 12 years. No matter how they like it. Constitutionally, you can only give him 12 years. But what we are asking the president to do is to increase the law for the implementation of our law. Our laws in the country are not being implemented. We don't want equality because we know equality does not exist. We want fair play.
Okay, thank you.
That fair play, yes, you're going to leave. Just give me 30 seconds.
We have other comrades in the queue. They want to speak.
Definitely. But
So
that
you
fair
have
play
to conclude. 30 seconds.
That fair play is what happened at the American embassy is totally unacceptable. Against young people, Now, precedent should be set now. If not that, you will see the replication of this or reputation in 2027, in 2023, which you do not pray for. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Your name again?
Amara M. Fofana, the executive spokesperson for the movement against police brutality and injustice in Liberia.
Thank you, Fofana. It was a pleasure having you on Focus on Liberia online television. Well, folks, all of you who are just coming on, the pleasure is mine to say good afternoon from Monrovia, or from just wherever you are joining us, and welcome to this live interaction with Liberians. We downtown Monrovia. We are precisely at CO, and CO is one of those intellectual centers we have on Carey Street here in Monrovia, folks. Let's talk to another comrade. Welcome, how are you?
I'm doing good.
What's the name, please? You have to please be audible. Let's hear you. Fofana, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
What's your thought?
You know, the action from our police this long time against our brothers in local ANO as he playing something. He was playing by the gangster Mayor Koji, who ordered some guys to counter protest.
You say it was playing by whom?
By a gangster city mayor called Javasi Koji.
Why would you say that? What's the proof to that?
No, it is a reality because
What makes it a reality?
yeah, the whole school were filled that day with security personnel.
Okay.
And in the presence of those security personnel, this action takes place. I have a video recording in my phone that I can show you now if you think I'm lying. In the presence of one police officer, our veteran of Brutality by those gangsters. So based upon this, I say it was organized by
Do you think the protest was timely on July 26th, our Independence Day? Do you think it was timely to have the protest on that day?
Oh yes, it was timely. In fact, there is no part of our constitution that shows a specific date for protest to be held. So based upon that reason, we as a peaceful citizen and law-abiding citizen, we have read the constitution sufficiently, so we can go do anything that is out of the constitution.
Do you also think the need or the reasons why the protest was held was genuine, or reasons why you think it was genuine?
Oh yes, it was genuine because 5 years down the line, we see how Liberia is, and 5 years down the line, we are seeing Mr. Weah life, how it has been improved. So based upon that, we decided to protest, to call attention that no, Mr. Weah, you are not proceeding the right way.
Are you a member of SUP?
I'm not a member of SUP, but
Okay.
I'm a patriotic citizen and I'm also a revolutionary.
Okay. Thank you very kindly. Your name again?
Once again, I'm Cabinet Sivana.
Thank you, Fofana. It was a pleasure having you on. Let's talk to another comrade here. Comrade, good afternoon. Welcome to Focus on Liberia Online Television.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome.
How are you today?
I'm very great.
Let's hear your thought.
And thank you. My name is Constant. The proud son of the
You're another Fofana?
Yeah.
Wow.
Proud son of the and one of the finest sons of Benke, my country. And at least I stood right behind you there and listened to all of veterans. They spoke collectively. But my attention has been through the recent protest regarding where there's someone from the American embassy to express their
You have to please be audible. Let's hear you.
Yeah, there's someone from the American embassy to express their grievances. And one of new people went there and brutalized them. It is quite frustrating. It is quite frustrating to be friends. We told the people that the government is not mature to leave us. And that is the reason why the government want to exhibit bad leadership on the daily basis on the people. Wow. It is going to put some of the protest. I hear other veterans saying that you put on independent. We buy the phone and say you put on independent. It is the leading and the fault and has the potential to disrupt our peace. Any day you can protest as long as you don't set the fire with the government proceeding. The reason that people are protesting it is welcome and it is necessary. The issue, the great LSC post, the Anti-Corruption Commission, I don't want to be clear that the people protested for. There are a lot of names that people put out up to now government refuse to prosecute the people. The one year dining with government officers, they Brian our time. Look at our agriculture minister was new in the TRC. Water and sewer, the president knew what they did. Up to now, government refused to prosecute that on that basis to decide to protest to go after those people to burn them, to bring them to court.
Okay. Your name again?
Thank
you, Fofana. It was a pleasure having you. Let's talk to another gentleman here who is just right before our camera. Welcome. How are you today, sir?
All right. Thanks so kindly. I'm Jallo Malcolm External, a member of the ever-potent Vanguard Unification Party, and one of those who were at the protest scene on July 26th.
Oh, you're at the protest?
Yeah.
Tell us what was your own experience on that day?
Well, the experience was really bad. It was horrible. You know, seeing a group of young brothers coming and attacking their fellow young brothers was something really, really much bad.
Did you expect them?
Well, we expected it because we know that those guys from the far right angle, they were going to do that. So it wasn't something like surprising to us because we believe that the only way those comrades can counter-argue those ideas that the Vanguard Party have put forth is to come in and brutalize the comrades out there.
Do you think it was prudent for you guys to have protested on that day?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Why do you think so?
We believe that under our constitution, it gave us the right to protest at any time because there's nowhere within the constitution that is specific that a person should protest, all right? And we believe that at the time that, looking at all of those counts that we raised out, and looking at the time, we believe that was a perfect time to protest.
You're a member of SOUP like you regularly pull it. Let me ask you this question. What is the current health status of Comrade Sisulu?
Well, right now, Comrade Sisulu health is deteriorating.
Okay.
And we call all comrades to pray so at least Comrade Sisulu can speedily get well. Because from what we have been receiving and from what I have personally seen, Comrade Sisulu health is seriously deteriorating. You
think he needs to be taken abroad for further treatment?
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe that some humanitarians and other well-meaning Liberians can see the need to take Comrade Sisulu out of the country because on a daily basis, Comrade Sisulu health is getting deteriorating and we are afraid before something else bad happens to other than this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, we still talking to Liberians here at the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinion, one of the leading intellectual centers downtown Monrovia. And of course, we are watching Focus on Liberia online television with me, Tia Williams. Another comrade is here. Comrade, good afternoon, welcome. How are you today?
Good afternoon, I'm Raj Johnson.
Do you want to please project your voice?
I said good afternoon, I'm Raj Johnson. Good.
Okay, what's the take about the subject on the discussion?
Firstly, I would like to condemn the actions of those who brutalized and were peaceful Liberians. But for me, what I have to say about this situation is more like a warning to we the young people.
Okay.
We have a responsibility to take up leadership after the generation we have now. And how we carry ourselves will make for people to believe in us that we can take over. And how we also carry ourselves will make for other people to also think that we are not capable of taking up leadership. And for me, I think protest is the last aspect of negotiation. You should go to negotiation. Every time you feel that things are now right, you should take the necessary steps before going to protest. Every other effort exerted fail, then you can lead to protest. But usually in Liberia, when I see people start with the last steps in negotiation.
So in essence, you think there was no need to protest on Independence Day?
For me, I didn't see the need for protesting.
Okay.
Because as a party, if you look at other parties in other African countries,
even though our constitution calls for that.
I agree. And the constitution also tell you to also give invitation to the police to provide you security. So I'm still waiting for the other party to tell us whether they invited the justice minister to provide them security. But that's not my argument. But if you compare Liberia with other countries, I don't see students, party or campus party getting involved, like the way SUB is involved with national politics. Go to Ghana, go to Nigeria and see whether these things are happening. But if you go to the New York campus, there are several situations at that campus that SUB should be protesting for. But they leave it. To me, there's no money in it. That's how I see it. They go usually to places and protest where they can get gains. And that is wrong. That's where I'm looking at both. Because at the New York campus, every semester we pay for Adidas. And they are not giving Adidas. And several other things can be mean that you're paying for that you're not receiving.
Okay.
There are students paying who cannot even go to lab, but you're paying lab fees. They have those things to protest for and go to the administration for, but they will leave it because going there, they won't have money for the students. So they go to ministries, protest against national government because they believe people will call them and get something. And I think the SUB we knew in time past is not the SUB now.
Okay, your name again?
Rush Johnson.
Thank you, Johnson. It was a pleasure having you on our network. This afternoon, we still talking to Liberians here. We are downtown Monrovia, KHQ to be precise. Here comes one of those top talkers. The guy is normally at CEO. He's Ishmael Jamil Delani. Let me introduce you. Welcome. How are you today, Ishmael?
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get your thought on the subject on discussion.
Yeah, honestly, the act of violence or the act of protest, destructively, we have been in a vanguard to condemn a time with odd numbers.
Okay.
And at a certain time, we said that the issue of condemnation should not only be the way forward, but rather trying to provide solutions that we can resolve issues. But in the act of condemnation, like I said, there should be recommendation by providing solutions to others as well.
All right.
Honestly, we know that normally protests in Liberia, one or the other can be undermined in a sense where young people go to perceive the thoughts of some of their big brother beyond the scene. Therefore, we are aware of.
You think that was the case?
It has been noticed for that because the issue of gathering young guys together and to demonstrate in an act of against against an institution or against the thought of government and other stuff, most often have been supported by some big brother behind the scene. But we are not discussing that side of it because that side could be the sentimental side. So we are saying now that the issue of protest in a destructive manner, we condemn it. What a counter-protest, we condemn it. So then we are saying now that we all as Liberians should always try to find a remedy around those things.
Let me get something clear from you. Are you saying that the SUB protest on that day was not timely? Is that what you're saying?
I'm clever in saying that yes, it was not timely.
Okay.
One may say because there could be a means for dialogue. I can also remember when SUB petitioned the legislator, that was before the celebration, and their recommendation was about current situation we are facing in Liberia, and that day their petition was received by Senator Norman Lawrence. I can still remember what she said. She said your concern will be addressed by our colleagues. When we resume, it will be debated, it will be addressed properly. The only thing you guys need to do is to exercise patience. I'm going to reach out to y'all in a very soon time. So in my mind, I think that should be absorbed. so that they could look into things and see the way forward. But if that issue is not addressed, then they could have alternatives. But not to go ahead with such a protest act.
Christopher Sisulu was madly handled on Liberia's Independence Day, just right before the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. The day U.S. Ambassador Michael McCarthy announced that President Biden have extended invitation to President Weah to attend a summit there in December. Let's know from you, Ishmael, what does this signal for the country?
Sisulu as a gentleman, I respect his revolution thoughts that he decided to portray. Although he may not be the one to turn the protest into violence, but I think he stood for something, and that was what. But looking at the foul part of it, I think in my mind, the national community will try to look at it critically. But now they just dive into decision like the way others is thinking that automatically in the national community we don't want to work with Liberia no longer because what's happening. They want to know the exegesis of the matter. But now they just dump into conclusion like the way others think.
Okay. I think that. Thank you, Ishmael Delane. It was a pleasure having you on. Let's talk to another big brother here. He's always here at CEO. Let's talk to Big Brother Kroman. How are you today? You don't seem to be a happy man. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not happy.
All right.
I'm not happy because the country is bleeding.
The country is bleeding?
The country is bleeding.
What do you mean when you say the country is bleeding, Kroman?
You as a journalist, in all around you can see the disappearance of Liberians. You can see the massive killings of citizens and foreign diplomats in our country. You can see how their lives have been threatened by this so-called irresponsible, useless government of the federal and the CDC level government led by President Okonjo.
Let's talk about the incident that happened on July 26th, just right before the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. What's the thing about that, Kroman?
My brother, I said this before.
The issue of protest and counter-protest.
Yes, I want to bring so many things. I will bring so many things. When you are dealing with irresponsible and useless people, at times behave like irresponsible person. You can't be a diplomat when you say you want to protest.
Okay.
So have been attacked by this so-called government several times. And no, the guys they went to meeting. So not aware. The president called the justice minister, the police director, they went to meeting.
How did you know that? Come on.
I'm aware. No, I'm an agent.
What's the reliance to that?
I'm a member of the DIN.
What kind of agent are you?
I'm a member of the DIN. That kind of intelligence that way. I can get any information I wish.
You said the DIN?
DIN, then. That kind of intelligence that way.
Okay.
So, I can get any information. They went to meeting, they agreed that no, this time around the police should not engage so militant anymore. Because it happened that the police were getting bad image, or the government getting bad image when violence being better on protesters.
Okay.
So this time around, the government went to meeting, the president, the justice minister, the director of police, they agreed that no, this time around, let's use our boys, the Sisulu, the Sabu unit, the Cobra forces, let's use them. And you see the guy who referred to as CPB, CDC, COP. The first nomenclature given to them, that is the accident. Because how can you be CDC, COP?
Somebody would think you're just making up stories, Kroman.
No, so it's a reality. For soup to go at a bar and not prepare themselves and get themselves out to stupid people. See the way they see what they did to them. The country not say, my brother, no, what happened to soup? If Liberia was a responsible country, where all the human rights aspects be observed, but now the justice minister, the police director, and even the party chairman, Molba Mono, will be under arrest. Because, in fact, you saw the police present. The police was present when the guy was doing like he built a treatment to the brother. You know what I mean to naked a fellow man? The naked man not wanted to naked him. They beat him unmercifully, and you saw the mother saw the unit succeed injury. The videos are clear, except that unless no stupid man, and Mose Carlos this morning, he said the investigating, but nobody are taking complaint to them. So until someone can take complaint before they will call the party, you waiting for complaint? Are you waiting for complaint? But I don't blame Mose Carlos. I don't blame him. No. Lastly, we're going to election very soon. And I told all the opposition leaders, and I'm going to re-quote this again on the platform. The opposition leaders, if they are not careful, some of them will be captured in the center of the road when they are maybe going from one year to Grand them. And then CDC just grabbing the center of the road and slaughter you. That will happen. It's going to happen. You saw what they did in Lofa. They treat over 1,000 men. Carry them there. It's death of violence. You saw the behavior of coaching. Amos Sawyer finished a service and the UL auditorium. You saw what the guy did there. Coaching was present. He ordered the boys to beat the Sumerians there. I was there with the council of Wombo. I was there.
Come on, those are all allegations.
Are all fights. It's not about allegations. These are all fights, and I'm going to challenge people. If that's why I can always tell them, I'm not going to speak to your will. I'll tell you my feeling and the way I see it and how I speak.
Okay.
If you think you can arrest, go arrest. One thing I know.
You said what's the name of your network again?
Eh?
You said what's the name of your network once again?
Dakwana Intelligent Network.
Dakwana Intelligent Network.
Dia and then.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kroma.
Thank you very much for this platform. You as a journalist, I also advise that you must be careful. They come and carry you. You know that one. They always carry journalists. They always pretend, so be careful.
Thank you. Thank you, Kroma. It was a pleasure having you on. Let's talk to female Liberians, then we wind down and join you or rejoin you subsequently. You're watching Focus on Liberia online television with me, Theo Williams. We are live from Monrovia, Central Monrovia, if you will. And of course, we're on Carey Street at the most talk about intellectual center in town. That is CEO, the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions. We're talking to Liberians about the recent brutality meted against Comrade Christopher Walter Sisulu, who according to reports is now in critical condition. We will try to verify that as a media institution and bring you all of the facts as per the current health status of Comrade Sisulu. But let's talk to another Liberian who wants to speak. Let's talk to probably one or two more Liberians who want to speak. And then we will wind down very shortly. And so stay with us from just wherever you are watching. We are live from Carey Street, downtown Monrovia. We are at CEO. And CEO is the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions. Let's talk to this big brother. How are you today? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
What's the name, please?
I'm Rudolph Bokke.
Your name again?
Rudolph Bokke.
Okay, Mr. Bokke, how are you today?
I'm great, thank God.
I'm sure you've been following. What's the thought regarding the subject under discussion?
Which subject, sir?
We're talking about the protests on July 26th and the manhandling of Comrade Walter Sisulu.
Well, the need Sisulu to tell you that one who bears that need Sisulu to know the definition of protest. Protest does not come with a division of bread and butter. Protest comes with flocking, killing. The other people killing in our country, you are the young flocking complaining. Go and ask Walter Sisulu what did he receive in apartheid in South Africa. Go and zoom next to me and ask him when you're protesting what did you receive. Go South Africa. Or Egypt, go and ask, go in the Arab, go out with the Arab Spring. Is there protest? He said, go flog me, then you are contradicting yourself.
So let me ask you think the way he was manhandled was right for the country? It went viral, it drew serious international attention. You think it's a good sign for us as a country? Is that what you're saying?
We, international attention, are you talking about? Are you talking about America?
I mean, it went viral all across the world.
America?
Not America specifically.
Where did the world Black Matter, where did they come from? Where did they come from? You talk about what? You talk about Egypt? What happened to John Mahmoud? Who are the Egyptians you're talking about? You talking about Saudi Arabia? Where is John Khashoggi? Where you talking about Pakistan? Where is John Zanopi? Look at pay the ultimate prices. You don't know flocking and complaining. And you want to go protest, you must expect to receive flocking, you must expect to receive even killing.
From the way you speak, it seems like you don't support protest.
Absolutely.
Why? It's called for by law on our constitution or in our constitution.
Law, I'm a protest. Call for assembly. That's a protest.
I mean, people can peacefully assemble and channel their grievances.
Absolutely, but you go protest and you're challenging civil authority. And news artists say to every pressure is equal and opposite reaction.
So in essence, you support those who counter protested.
I'm not supporting protest. I'm against protest. If you are supporting against comrade, I'm supporting protest. I'm saying if you are going to still protest, you must be expecting to receive the otherwise.
Okay, let me ask you this question. I want you to be bold about this. What do you make of the action of the guys from the CDC-COP against Sisulu and other comments from Sue?
No one in his right mind will support violence.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to violence.
All right.
But my argument is, if I say I'm going to still protest, I'm going to be expected to be flogged. I'm going to be expected to be even killed. I'm a journalist. If I'm saying I'm working in the corridor of journalism, you expect to be flogged at any time. But not everyone will respect your reporter. Not everyone will say about what you report. Your reporting will be against your own interest. So go and ask Saudi Arabia if you condemn the president of Liberia, then a zone to General Khashoggi.
Liberia is a democratic state, and people have the right to assemble peacefully, like you put it. And this is not a military junta state, and so Liberians would think they have the right to gather and channel their grievances.
But they were not assembling. They were abusing. They were, in fact, the stammer movement. They couldn't say it. Your right is where man begins. And man should be respected and protected by you as well. But if you block the road, you freeze a man right to pass, then you have to receive the opposite reaction.
What do you expect to come out of what happened on July 26th?
Impartial investigation. Even soon to be investigated. Why did she leave a camera country to come protest? You can black people movement. She should be investigated as well. Who gave the permit? The law says you must seek permit from the Ministry of Justice. They should receive permit. Then the ministry say go and black people movement. So she should be investigated as well.
Okay. Your name again?
I'm Roland G. Bucket.
Thank you, Mr. Bucket. It was a pleasure having you on Focus on Liberia online television. Well, I'm sure we will wind down now. It's been a wonderful time interacting with the comrades here at this intellectual center. And so thanks to all of you who have been on following us. Thanks to all of you who shared the live. We'll do this again some other day. But again, we are following the outcome of the investigation very closely, and we'll bring you up to speed subsequently. Well, it's been a wonderful time having you on. Thanks for being with us. And so, on behalf of the Focus on Liberia crew, our dynamic CEO who is in the US, Atlanta, Georgia specifically, Mr. Dennis Jar, Head of Operations, Anthony C.A., and all members of the Focus on Liberia crew across the world. My name is Theo Williams here in Monrovia. Thanking you very kindly for being with us. And thanks to the comrades who also provided their own thoughts regarding the subject under discussion. Like I told you, we'll find some more time to do this. But before closing up, let me extend our sympathy to Comrade Sisulu, and of course we're wishing speedy recovery. We're hoping that he can recuperate in the soonest possible time. And so again, on behalf of the team, my name is Theo Williams. Thanking you ever so much. Goodbye from Monrovia.